Hey, I'm back. I'm back again. It's Friday. It's Friday. I know you're excited. I'm excited too. So, welcome back. We've been working pretty hard this week. Let's get started talking about it. All right. First things first, get yourself in a comfy spot. Get yourself a nice little snack or a cool beverage or a hot beverage. Sit back, relax, and let's talk about cars. What did we do this week? A lot. We did a lot this week. Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking at it. Let's talk about this one. We worked on the Land Rover Defender this week a bit. Christian took it outside. He pushed it outside because there was one pretty decent day. There's been a couple of decent days, but there was one pretty decent day. You take advantage of those nice days when it's wintertime. We rolled it outside. You got the pressure washer out, and we blasted this thing of all of the creatures and moss and things that were living on it. So it's a little cleaner. We haven't detailed it. All we did was pressure wash it. So if you get in on it, she's still a little scuzzy. After that was done, we did a rundown on figuring out what it needed. That started with putting the battery in it. The owner brought us a brand new, very fancy battery for it. We put that in. Tried to start the car. It cranked over fine. We got oil pressure. Those are good signs. We like that. No runny. So we checked the fuel rail up front here. We weren't getting any gas. We sprayed a little ether down the intake track, and she ran on the ether, which means the ignition system works. We got spark. That's good. Spark is one of the things they need. We, however, didn't have any fuel. We checked fuses, relays, that kind of stuff. Couldn't hear a fuel pump running. All of the fuses and relays were good. The inertia switch was good. It's working fine. And at the end of the day, that means that it's a fuel pump. So we went through and we figured out what other things the old girl needs to get back on the road, to get back into living the life that a Land Rover should. We came up with a big list, sizable. It's a scary list for sure. They normally are when a car sits and you want to use it again. The list gets pretty big. So we're going to be addressing the fuel pump issue. We got a fuel pump and a fuel filter on the way. Those are good things. His gas tank skid that holds the gas tank up, that thing is so rotten. It looks like Swiss cheese, guys. So we got one of those on the way. We've ordered up all the coolant hoses, brake hoses, a thermostat for it. We're going to do all the fluid flushes that we can on it. Belt, air filter, oil filter, transmission filter, all that stuff's going to be tackled on this thing. So Christian ordered those parts today. They're going to be on their way here shortly. Hopefully they'll be here next week. Maybe we can get some things done on it next week. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out next week, right? You'll find out next week. That'll be fun. But that's where she's at. Parts are on the way. We've got some movement. We've got some progress. It's good. Speaking of progress, the Triumph she's gotten some good progress on her here too. Christian has again been grinding away at it, getting those welds underneath cleaned up and finishing up some welds on the bottom side. That's been good. Good progress on that one. I'd like to say that there's a lot to show you there. There isn't. It's just a lot of spots that are, bare metal or covered in primer now. And that's good stuff. That's good. That's progress. She's inching forward to the next big phase, which is good. Don't really have much more to tell you about that one. It's grindy. Another one that's coming back, a blast from the past, is the old Jag XJS. You will notice, if you've watched the previous videos, she's been turned around. Now, we didn't Hercules or manhandle or muscle this thing in backwards. No. She turned herself around under her own power. Of course, one of us was driving, but under her own power, we turned it around. That's good news. It's good to hear. It's good to hear a car that's been sitting for a while run. It's good to hear it. She ran fine. She sounds good. She sounds great. Top. The owner ordered up a new top ECU. This is what a top ECU for those cars looks like. Little tiny black box with a little connector on it. Lots of things going on in that box. So I diagnosed the first one, which I have right here too. This is the first one. First one's been taken apart to check on the inside of it, see if we could find anything that was going on with it. Because you can't buy these new. You can't buy them new. So we wanted to see if we could fix the old one originally. Nothing showed up that said there was anything wrong with it, but it just didn't function. So we bought this one out of a junkyard. At the same time we bought this one out of a junkyard, we bought a window for the passenger side. We are looking at the passenger side. We bought a window for the passenger side here. Back window, motor. We just bought the motor, not the whole window, not the track. The regulator and motor. We bought that along with the ECM from a junkyard. Put all that in. The motor worked fine. We'll get to that in a minute. Motor worked fine. However, the ECM did not. Couldn't get it to work still. So the owner ordered up a new one. I put that in. I put the battery in. I hooked everything up. Got the car to start. And we still didn't have a functioning top. What? I've diagnosed the car's problems twice. How is it that I'm wrong? I'm wrong twice? No. What's going on here? It's being a Jaguar. That's what's going on here. So when I ran through and I checked all the wiring throughout the car for the convertible top system, there's two safety switches. Okay, there's two safety switches. One is the parking brake safety switch. That's right. You got to have the parking brake on and put the top down or put it up. The other one is the park switch, also referred to as a neutral safety switch or a neutral park safety switch. The car has to be in either neutral or it has to be parked. It can be running, neutral, or parked with the emergency brake on before you can put your top down. Sound good? I like it. Those safety features are wonderful. However, they are little tiny switches with little tiny wires that go to them, and they like to rear their ugly head. It is one of the common culprits as to why these cars have non-functioning tops. So, when it didn't work, when I pressed the button, when nothing happened when I pressed the button, I got angry. But I came back here and started doing my diagnostics yet again. Hey, you got to go back to square one. If something's not right, start again. See what you missed. See if you missed anything. Now, I've done this twice on this car, and I've tested those safety switches. I've tested the relays. I've seen whether or not power gets to where it needs to be, whether the grounds are good, and it passed. Every time it failed at the ECM. The ECM was the culprit. There's no way there's a third one here with a bad culprit. So we tested again. I tested again. In this instance, we lucked out. It just turns out that one of the grounds on the safety switches wasn't making good contact, wasn't doing a good job. A little fiddly. She's working great now. And so the top functioned. It's an early Christmas for me, I tell you what. The top worked. That's good. So I cycled the top up and down about 4 times just to make sure everything was working as it was, make sure all the adjustments were fine, make sure everything was good. I knew I needed to adjust this passenger side window just a bit more to make it right. So I knew that was going to come down the line for me. But the last time I cycled it up, I noticed the passenger side window didn't go up. It's supposed to go up when you put the top up. And it didn't. So now I had to diagnose why the window didn't go up. Now the window on the passenger side is the entire reason why this car got a carpet set put in it. It's the whole reason why stuff is getting moved around, why there's a new top ECM, is for the window. Did my junkyard window motor just take a dump on me? Kind of. So, I pulled everything out of the back of the car, pulled the window motor and regulator back out. And if you've done this before, you know that's not a fun job, okay? You get cut up. There's not enough room to work, especially since the seats are back in it. Man, it's tight quarters for sure. So, squared it away, got it out, put it on the bench, took it apart, found out that everything was just really, really dirty on the inside. So I cleaned everything, thoroughly cleaned it. All the electrical contacts, all of that stuff, the brushes, all that stuff. Cleaned them up. Thought, it's worth a shot. Clean it up, see what goes on. When I went into the gear assembly, that's the thing that allows the motor to do something. I did find some interesting bits and pieces of stuff. I found these little guys here. These are little pieces of black plastic. I don't know what they're supposed to do, but I'll tell you this. I took the chunks of black plastic out. I put the window motor back together just to see if I could get this thing to function again. And the motor worked great. It works fine. Put it back in the car. Started doing my adjustments. There's a little bit of adjustment still left to do, but started doing my adjustments. Tested out the top yet again. And she works like a charm. She's great. She works perfectly. I like it. It's fun. It's exactly what it's supposed to do. So it's been a big hubbub getting this thing to do its job again. But we're on the home stretch here. Top works. Windows work. We got some cleaning to do. What else we got to do this? I think we just got a lot of cleaning to do left. That's kind of it. She runs, she drives, she stops. Top works. Windows work. There's no leaks. And we just got to vacuum and clean the outside really thoroughly. And we're done. Oh, there was one more thing. And this is not a fault of anybody but whoever manufactured the window switches for the car. The owner bought 2 new window switches, a left and a right. And they have a decal on them that indicates them to be the left switch and the right switch. Well, the one for the right-hand side, the passenger side, the decal was printed upside down. You can't install the switch upside down because then the windows face each other. Like it still reads wrong. Like it's still wrong. If that makes any sense. I get in there, but I actually have it like taken apart right now. I get in there and show you, but it's kind of a mess. So yeah, that's the only thing left. I mean, the window switch works. It's just it's backwards. So when you press the down button, the window goes up, and when you press the up button, and you would think, oh, just take the connector off and flip it or something. No, it's handed. Like it only goes in one way. You can only put it in one direction, so you can't flip anything around. Sucks. Certainly sucks. Don't like it. Not fun for me. I'm not having fun with this. So there's that issue, but it's a minor one. We've got some options. We can take care of it, make the window switch work as it should. Anyway, I know this was rushed. It's quick. I get a little too long in the tooth on these videos sometimes, especially last week. That was a doozy. That was too much. That's it though. That's all I got for this week. Hopefully this one will be either ready to go home or home next week. Defender will have parts next week, and progress will be made on the Triumph. And, if we're feeling really frisky about it, maybe some progress on the Lagonda, maybe some progress on the Healy, maybe some progress on something else. We shall see. In order to find out, you're going to have to tune in next week. That's how that works. So, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon at the top. And I will see you all next week. Next Friday, actually. That's when I do these videos. It's Friday. So I'll see you next Friday. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend.